All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. If you're a ninth grader tackling the Kaveri English textbook, or just someone who loves a good story about culture and language, you are in the right place. Today, we're unpacking a chapter called Winds of Change. We're going to take this amazing journey through the history of an everyday object deeply woven into India's heritage, the traditional Indian hand fan, or the punkah. And the best part? We're going to use its cultural story to sharpen your English vocabulary and master a pretty crucial grammar concept.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the origin of the punkah, then check out some incredible regional artistry, dive into the modern winds of change, decode some tricky vocabulary, and finally, wrap it up by mastering the present perfect tense. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Origin of the punkah.
So let's kick things off by figuring out where the traditional hand fan actually comes from. If we look at the language, the word punkah is rooted in the word punk, which literally just means the feather of a bird. Pretty cool, right? Now, your text mentions that while we use punkah for pretty much all fans today, back in the day, the word punky meant something super specific, a small, plumed fan used in ancient India. It's a great example of how our language evolves right alongside the everyday stuff we use.
And the history here? It goes way, way back. We're talking 2nd century CE. You can literally see evidence of the punky in Buddhist wall paintings at the Ajanta caves. Back then, these weren't just used to cool down on a hot day. They were ceremonial. They were used in temples to fan deities and in royal courts to fan kings. And the sizes were wild. Everything from a tiny 2-inch fan to these massive ones that literally took a person's entire arm strength to swing. Eventually, as global trade routes opened up, these fans turned into highly prized exotic cultural goods all over the world.
All right, moving on to Section 2. Regional artistry and materials.
As the punkah spread across India, different towns and regions put their own unique spin on it. Just take a look at this applique hand fan from Rajasthan. Your chapter actually highlights this specific style as an antique punkah. What they do is they take pieces of fabric, different shapes, different patterns, and sew them onto another piece of cloth using this highly ornamental needlework. It's absolutely gorgeous and perfectly captures that vibrant vibe of Rajasthan. But even within Rajasthan, the variety is staggering. Look at these two. On the left, you've got the Zardozi hand fan. This one is all about luxury. It's encrusted with glittering, ornate gold threadwork. A real showstopper. But then, contrast that with the painted cardboard fan on the right. These painted punkahs might look simpler, but they hold immense spiritual significance because they're typically offered directly to the gods in temples. The big takeaway here is that the materials completely change depending on where you are. Head over to Gujarat, for instance, and you'll find these elegant, pure cotton fans covered in their famous mirrorwork. They also make these dainty bead fans with silver handles that people actually use as wall decor. Travel to Kutch? You're looking at hand-stitched leather fans with wool and thread at the seams. And we definitely can't forget the incredible tribal craftsmanship across the country. A lot of tribes use indigenous, everyday materials like grass, metal, bamboo, and cane, mixing in these striking geometric patterns, usually with distinct white ink on a red background.
Which brings us to Section 3, Modern Winds of Change.
Now, let's fast forward to today and talk about the core theme of your chapter, the winds of change. Obviously, with modern technology, air conditioning, and electric fans, the everyday job of the punkah had to pivot. It went from being an essential tool for cooling down royalty to something entirely different. Today, the punkah has completely transformed into a decorative craft item, and more importantly, it's become a massive commercial business. This shift provides a literal lifeline for India's artisans. For example, those industrious home-based women workers in Gujarat we mentioned, they are working tirelessly to produce these beautiful items just to keep up with modern commercial demand.
So I want to pause for a second and throw a question your way, one that's actually straight from your textbook. How does restricting the use of the punkah to just decorative purposes reflect its changing cultural role in modern India? Think about it. Does turning an everyday, functional object into a piece of art preserve its cultural value, or does it completely change what the object actually means to us? It is a fascinating thing to chew on when we look at how traditions collide with modern tech.
Okay, let's shift gears. Section 4, Chapter Vocabulary Decoding.
To really master this chapter, we need a solid language toolkit. Let's decode some of the trickier words you're going to see. First up, indigenous. That just means local, or from the place where it originated. Remember how we said tribes use indigenous materials? That's what that means. Next is innovative, which means new and original in approach. You know, like the innovative designs keeping the craft alive today. And industrious? That simply means hardworking, a perfect word for those industrious women in Gujarat crafting those incredible fans.
Let's knock out the rest of this list.
Intricate means super elaborate or detailed. Think of that glittering gold Zardozi fan, very intricate. Invoked means brought out, like maybe an ancient fan invoked a sense of respect in the royal court. And finally, initiatives. These are actions taken to improve a situation, like government initiatives meant to protect these traditional crafts. Make sure you lock these in, guys. They are absolutely crucial for acing your reading comprehension.
And finally, Section 5, Mastering Present Perfect Tense.
All right, let's bring it all together and tackle the core grammar lesson for this chapter right in the context of our Panka story. Check out these 4 sentences pulled straight from your text. Pankas have become traditional craft items. Women workers have worked tirelessly. Tribes have adopted this handicraft. This handicraft has transformed into a business. Do you notice a pattern with those underlined verbs? We've got the helping verb, have or has, teamed up with the past participle of the main verb.
So, what exactly is this? Your textbook calls it the present perfect tense. We use this for actions that happened in the past, but, and this is the important part, they still have serious relevance right now, in the present. It's also used for things that just recently wrapped up. Let's look at that last example. The handicraft is transformed into a business. The transformation started way back when, but the result is completely relevant today for the artisans making a living off it right now. That bridge between the past and the present, that is the secret sauce to mastering this tense.
And just like that, we're at the end of our explainer. We've traced the Panka from ancient caves all the way to modern markets, decoded some tough vocabulary, and totally nailed the present perfect tense. Honestly, understanding the history and the culture makes learning the English grammar so much easier and way more fun. So I'm going to leave you with this. If the things we make reflect who we are, what will our everyday stuff say about us when the winds of change blow and people look back at our time 1,000 years from now? Keep decoding, keep learning, and I will catch you in the next explainer.